Hey, grade 5. Today we are going to be starting a new social studies unit called Canada and Her Trading Partners. In this unit, we are going to be looking forward to, or jumping forward to the present time and look at Canada and her current situation. Our last unit, we spent a great deal of time learning about the brave men who ventured off to explore new lands. And this was quite a crazy time, and a lot of people, it was a real big struggle to do this. This exploration ultimately led to our world becoming more and more interconnected and the creation of a major international trade system, right? When Europeans started going all over the place and trading everywhere, they started bringing goods to and from different places all around the world. And so this kind of interconnected places as far-flung as England to Indonesia and to China, right? These guys were all trading now. Though, of course, in China's case, there's a long story there, and it was a bit of a mission to get China to open its borders. But yes, anyways. We learned a lot about that. So what is trade? Trade is basically the exchange of one thing for another thing. If one student has an extra copy of a hockey card, he might trade it for one that he doesn't have, right? And then in this case, both people will probably be happy, especially if the other person didn't have that hockey card. And then both have now the benefit of having, more hockey cards, or the same amount, but more different ones, right? So they can gain that, and they both want it. So this is often the case with trade, right? You trade something that you have too much of for something that someone else has a lot of, and then you can each benefit from this. And this leaves basically everyone happy. There are times, though, when there can be unfair trade, and this could even hurt someone especially if they're forced into it, which can be harmful to a person or a group. But let's think now to how the early settlers got what they needed, right? So they were arriving in a land where they really didn't have much. They weren't accustomed to the land or the things that were going on, and so they had to trade stuff that they had, like guns and maybe silverware and jewels and especially axes and tools, right, that Europeans had, like stone axes were very helpful for the natives to be able to actually engage with and to start cutting down trees, because if you look at how long it takes to cut down a tree with a stone axe versus an iron axe, it's ridiculously long. Stone axes are not effective. Basically, with a stone axe, what you're doing is you're bashing the tree down almost with a club, while with a steel axe or an iron axe, you're actually cutting the tree down. So these things would be traded by the Europeans for furs and other things that they needed, especially that they could take back with them over to Europe and trade for money. And that brings us to a really important thing, right? Money ends up being especially today, ends up being the main thing that gets traded, right? I take a $5 bill to the grocery store and I buy some milk, right? So I'm trading that $5 bill for some milk, and so the store gets my $5 and I get the milk, and that's a trade. And then they use that $5 to buy something else. And so this is often how things happen now. Instead of trading one good for another good, we use money as the in-between. Countries still need to trade. Why? Well, we still want stuff that we can't necessarily get. So some countries have lots of trees and ores, like Canada. Canada has lots of mines and lots of trees and natural resources. And so we can cut these things down, mine it out, and we can send it to other people, and they'll pay us money for it. And then we can use that money to buy things that we would like cars and cell phones and computers. And obviously Canada produces some cars too, and there's a lot. It's a very complicated system, but so there's lots of things. Today, a lot of things are made in China, but there's a lot of raw goods that can be made here, right? So what do the provinces produce? So let's look at Canada for a second. What's made in Canada? Well, in the territories, we have fishing and mining as well as other things, but mining makes up a big portion of the territories. The Northwest Territories actually have the the highest per capita GDP, and it's probably because of these the monster mines they have and the very few people as well. So, so the mines, they bring out iron and different gold and stuff like that, and can sell that on the market. Then places like British Columbia, they have big forests, and they can chop the forest down, make paper, make all sorts of lumber. They can trade this. They also have fish, and they can grow fruits and vegetables and even some wines. Then you move over to Alberta, and that's that picture in the top right there of the oil sands, right? So Alberta can make a lot of gas if the Canadian government lets them, and they can make a lot of money off of that. They have beef and grain and wheat and vegetables, right? They grow a lot of food as well. And there's some opportunity for mining and there as well. So and in Saskatchewan and Manitoba, there's lots of farming there, right? In Ontario, we have lots of farms around our area, but we also make a lot of manufactured goods, right? So in Woodstock, there's a Toyota plant. In around Toronto, there's a Ford plant, right? There's different like in Oakville, right? So there's different things that Canada makes and produces. We even make armored vehicles, and so there's lots that can be made here in Quebec. There's a lot of hydroelectricity that they sell, and forestry and mining, and also tech products, and so it's a very complicated thing. But they produce a lot of stuff, and then finally the Atlantic provinces, right? They produce fish, crops, natural gas, and oil. So all these things kind of make up a part of the economy. These are the things that we make, and we can send either to our own markets to buy, that you and I can buy, or to foreign markets like in China or America, mostly America, as we'll see, but even Europe. And this makes Canada money. So what is trading? Let's get a bit deeper in all the lingo. Well, so Canada is dependent on international trade because we can't produce everything we need or enjoy here, right? For instance, oranges and bananas and all sorts of yummy fruits, and also if we want certain types of cars and computers, a lot of these things can't be made here. They might, if they are able to be made here, sometimes it's not as cost effective to have them made here. Maybe the climate's not right, maybe the cost of people actually working is a bit more expensive, which is a whole nother story, but we won't get into. Canada relies on selling some of the stuff that we have easily access to get stuff that we don't have easy access to. And that's so when we're buying things and bringing them in, it's called importing. So importing is when you buy goods from another country and bring them into your country. On the other hand, exporting is where we sell our goods to other countries. So those are two words that you should try and remember. When you import more than you export, you're experiencing what's called a trade deficit. So often, if you ever listen to politics, they always talk about the deficit. Normally, that's the budget that we're spending more than we earn, which is not good. You always want to spend less than you earn, so you can be like saving money away. But sometimes, after the fall, people often want more than they should, they can afford, which ends up creating lots of debt. So the same thing happens in a trading deficit, is where you are trading stuff away. You're trading less, you're giving less stuff away, and you're taking more in, which ends up costing you, making it you in debt, right? You're not actually making money on your trade. Now, Canada's not super bad. We're pretty close, and generally our trade sticks kind of close together, our exports and imports, but we could do a bit more to work on getting exports. But so just like this is important to note that countries should export more than they import, just like families should earn more than they spend, right? And that's something, just a good thing that we should aim for. Now, Canada has a really good situation, though, for international trade. We're located on two of the big oceans of the world, right? So we have access to the big economies of Europe. We have access to Africa. Obviously, we have access to all of Latin America. And then on the other side, from the ports in BC, we have access to Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, China, and Russia, right? So we have all this great access through our different ports. And then our biggest trading partner, of course, is the United States, which we will talk about now. So here is our biggest trading partner. So for exports, our biggest trading partner is the United States with $287.1 billion. That's a lot of dollars. So that is just billions upon billions of dollars. And then China, so that's 73.5%. So that's something to remember, right? The United States is overwhelmingly our biggest trading partner, and the main trading partner for our country. And then you have China, which is another place. We don't export as much to China. We actually bring in a lot more from China than we send to China, which is a big problem. So with the United States, if you actually look, we are actually sending more to the United States than we're bringing in, but with other countries this is not the same. You'll see the United Kingdom there. So if you know our history, right, Canada was ultimately becomes part of the British Empire, which I guess you'll talk more about in the next few years. But yeah, so we have a good connection with the UK, and then Japan also is a big economy that we're friendly with. And yeah, so these are the big things these are our big partners, right? So we're friends, well, sometimes we're maybe not totally friends, but we kind of work together to trade and give each other stuff, right? And we're exchanging one thing for another thing. So often with China produces a lot of cheap goods because they have a lot of people and a lot of people that they don't really pay very well. So they can produce a lot of gizmos and gadgets for quite cheap, unlike in Canada where you have to pay quite a bit for someone to work, which is in a lot of ways a good thing, so that people can have a nice standard of living. But yeah, so that gives China an edge in that way. Anyway, so yeah, the reason why we're we're America is our biggest trading partner is because we're right beside each other. We have a lot of cooperation. We both speak English. We both have a shared culture of a British heritage and British legal system, and in a lot of ways we share a lot of ideas and thoughts. Of course, there's differences as well, but there's a lot of interconnectedness. Anyways, I hope this quick little lesson for today will be helpful as an introduction to our trading unit. Ciao.